Hey there, knowledge seekers. Today we're diving into a special analysis exploring the Lovecraftian DNA within love, death, and robots. And no, I'm not just talking about tentacled monsters. We're going to unearth hidden references, deep themes, and connections that will make you see the series in a new light. But before we continue, I have a warning. This video contains more spoilers than the Necronomicon has cursed pages, so proceed at your own risk. Let's start with In the Tall Grass, an episode that hides more secrets than it seems. Did you notice that the protagonist is practically H.P. Lovecraft's twin? And before the purists jump in, yes, I know there's debate about whether Lovecraft wore glasses or was a smoker. In fact, while he wasn't a regular smoker, there are records of him experimenting with tobacco during his time in New York. Details matter. Picture the scene, a train cutting through endless prairies like a needle sewing through a tapestry of living darkness. The grass on both sides isn't just vegetation. It's an almost conscious presence that seems to breathe in the twilight. When the train stops due to a mechanical failure, we know we're witnessing one of those moments where reality is about to crack. Our protagonist, in an act that reflects the fatal curiosity so typical of Lovecraftian characters, ventures into the grass. What he finds are creatures that have generated intense debates in the community. Are they the ghouls from Pickman's model, or something older and more terrible? After immersing myself in the original text and analyzing every detail, I lean toward a different theory. These creatures are ghasts, inhabitants of the depths of the dreamlands. Think about it. Humanoid beings without defined faces, death-pale skin, hunting in packs, and possessing supernatural agility. The profile fits perfectly. But what's truly brilliant is the train officer's explanation. These creatures are lost souls between dimensions, trapped in that liminal space where our world brushes against other planes of existence. It's pure Lovecraft in its essence, the idea that parallel realities exist separated by increasingly thin veils, and sometimes, in places like this cursed prairie, those veils become dangerously thin. Now get ready for something special. Episode 8 of the 3rd season. If the previous one was a nod to Lovecraft, this is a full embrace of cosmic horror. Let's break down every layer of this masterpiece, because there are more hidden references than cultists in Innsmouth. The detail of the Arab prisoner isn't coincidental. It's a brilliant homage to Abdul al-Hazred, the infamous mad Arab who created the Necronomicon. And while he obviously can't be the same al-Hazred, who was torn apart by invisible forces centuries ago, the implication that his forbidden knowledge might have been passed down through generations adds a completely new dimension to the narrative. The spiders that massacre the soldiers are another direct reference to the Lovecraftian canon. The spiders of Leng, mentioned in The Dream Quest of Unknown Kadath, share that same lethal combination of bestiality and unnatural intelligence. It's as if the creators had dived into the darkest corners of the Lovecraftian universe to bring these creatures to the screen. The climax presents us with an entity that, although smaller than traditional Cthulhu, about 20 meters compared to mountain-sized, perfectly captures the essence of cosmic horror. The ability to infect minds, the seductive promise of power, and that infinite hunger to break free from its chains. The way it manipulates the soldiers' perceptions and desires is pure Lovecraft. That horror that not only destroys the body, but corrupts the soul. The ending with Harper is perhaps the most Lovecraftian moment of the entire episode. When he tears out his eyes, ears, and possibly his tongue, we're not just witnessing an act of self-mutilation. It's the final act of resistance of a human mind against forces that exceed our comprehension. It's that moment of final clarity where a character understands that the only way to resist the horror is to refuse to witness it. The visual and narrative construction of this chapter is masterful because it understands that true cosmic horror isn't in the tentacles or multiple eyes. It's in the feeling of insignificance, in the revelation that we're less than ants in an indifferent and hostile universe. Every element, from the ancient cave to the apocalyptic visions, builds that sense of existential horror that defines the genre. The Secret War, deserves special mention not only for its technical quality, but for how it fuses supernatural horror with the very real horror of war. The forests of Siberia become the perfect setting for this collision between the military world and forces that should never have been awakened. It's as if Lovecraft had written an episode of Band of Brothers, and the result is absolutely fascinating. Swarm plays with our expectations in brilliant ways. If you're a StarCraft fan or have seen enough alien movies, you'll recognize the familiar elements. But what makes this story unique is how it subverts the first contact trope. This isn't a story about hostile aliens. It's a parable about human arrogance in the face of the incomprehensible, a deeply Lovecraftian theme.
I do care for you. I care for all the lost souls that end up here.
Beyond the Aquila Rift tells the story of a group of space haulers who, during a routine quantum jump for space travel, end up stranded in a completely unknown part of the galaxy. The crew consists of 3 people, along with their AI Ray, and fate leads them to the Aquila Rift, a place that fascinatingly exists in our real world. Upon waking, Tom notices the system failure and tries to alert his companion Susie. That's when the supposed rescue team appears, including Greta, an astronaut with whom Tom had a romantic history. What seems like a miraculous rescue soon reveals its sinister true nature. Susie is the first to notice something's wrong, insisting that woman isn't Greta. The truth comes to light when Tom finally confronts Greta, revealing they're trapped in a kind of alien honeycomb where a spider-like creature keeps them in a dream state while feeding on them. The Aquila Rift is one of those astronomical mysteries that defy our current understanding, an immense region that has the ability to block and hide starlight. Scientists still can't explain exactly what happens in this area, making it the perfect setting for a cosmic horror story. As for the creature, while there isn't an exact equivalent in Lovecraft's writings, we could compare it to Atlach Nacha, the being that weaves its web between the real world and the dream world. This entity's ability to create perfect illusions while feeding on human experiences is particularly disturbing. It makes us wonder if we might be trapped in one of its webs right now without knowing it. What's truly terrifying is how these themes resonate with our current reality. In an era where companies like SpaceX and Blue Origin talk about colonizing other planets, where NASA plans to return to the moon and reach Mars, Lovecraft's warnings about the dangers of venturing too far into the unknown take on new meaning. Are we really prepared for what we might find out there? And speaking of exploring the unknown, I have news about Season 4 of Love, Death, and Robots. Although initially expected for December 2024, there have been some production delays. The good news is that the series remains in active development, and an important announcement is expected soon. Meanwhile, we can continue unraveling the mysteries that these first seasons have already presented to us. What do you think? Have you noticed other Lovecraftian references I didn't mention? What theories do you have about the true nature of the creatures in these episodes? Leave it in the comments. And if this journey through cosmic horror seemed interesting to you, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more content like this. Coming up, we'll analyze Lovecraft's influence on other modern media, from video games to music. See you in the next video.